Oh man, you know how Brian always starts a thing when he introduces himself?
Yeah?
Mm.
I have a thing, so I'm
You
gonna
have a
kick it
thing.
off this time.
Okay. I'll pick it where you drop it, or whatever the saying goes.
Or you will throw up both hands and run away in the other direction. Both would be understandable. Just saying.
Okay. I'll be prepared to do either.
So, okay, wait. Dirk, you're here.
Yep,
Mike, you're here.
correct.
And Brian, you left.
Uh, is that the thing? Is that the
No,
thing we're
no.
doing?
I just wanted everybody to say something real quick so that chat could make sure we all sound right.
Okay.
Hey, Pinball Witch got 200 more bits. How are you mining so many bits from ads? It always stopped me after like 20. Because it sucks. Back when I used to watch ads for bits.
Easy, you just have 10 tabs open.
Oh, I never thought of that.
I'm guessing.
That might work. Actually. Well, thank you, Pinball Witch, for the more bits and the more emotes. Ouch. Oh, okay. You had some saved up already. Gotcha. I was really confused. All right. Surely that is long enough to where it's actually started recording. So let us begin. Everybody good? We good?
Yes.
Good.
All right. Here we go. Ow, jam! Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mana Pool. This is episode 556 of the Mana Pool, because last week we were the Hollywood telephone number, so now we're not. That's how that works.
I'm sure we're an area code somewhere.
Ooh, let's go look. Area code 556 is in the state of Iowa. Oh, that's a 4-letter state. So there is no area code 556. Got it. Sorry, that's a Monday Night Magic joke. Bill refuses to acknowledge states with 4 letters because they're not real.
I see.
Yeah. So
I grew up in Ohio.
see? So you just sprung into existence in North Carolina at some point.
Suddenly it all makes sense.
It kind of does, doesn't it? And Utah. That's the other one that I know of that doesn't exist. Anyway. So, yes, this is episode 556 of the Mana Pool. I'm Chewy, the lead dork. And last night, I might regret saying this, but last night, while I was, you know what? Anyone listening has been listening for a long time. Let's not be delicate. While I was sitting on the toilet, the power went out, and I was plunged into pitch blackness, and that was disconcerting. Just pitch black and dead silence. And then, after like 30 seconds, if that, it came back on. And my thought was, if I'm in a horror movie, this is about to end really gross. Because, like, if I was in the shower, at least I'd still have water hitting me and I'd still have sound, and I can grab a towel and dry off and get out. But I wasn't in the shower. So it's not like I could get up and walk away. Anyway. So, that's what I did last night. With me, as always, are some other dorks. Hey, dorks, what'd you guys do last night?
Hey, I'm Brian, the lead rambler tangent master of the group. And I'm... Okay, this is going to sound really bad, but I'm trying to remember what I did last night. This is not like a, hey, dude, where's my car kind of thing, or anything like that. But I'm like, I think I went to work, and I came home and we worked. I've been doing a new exercise routine. I think I slept. Wow, that's boring. Boring, you guys. Boring.
Alternatively, where's the worst place you've ever been when the power went out?
Apparently nowhere.
Apparently
In
nowhere.
I don't actually. Okay, again, boring. Don't really know that I have a story like that. Although there was at least one time when I was stuck at home. I guess maybe when I was in high school, Hurricane Fran came through. It was my first experience with an actual hurricane dealing damage, and we lost power for what, like 3 or 4 days. So that was a bit of an adjustment to be a kid in the 90s and not have any power for a couple days. Definitely showed me that, I was too reliant on external stuff, blah, blah, blah. Couldn't watch my TVs. So I was lucky to have it back after 3 or 4 days. I know other people were out much longer than that. So, yeah, sorry, no funny stories, just sleeping and hurricanes.
Well, now I'm depressed.
Maybe Michael has something funny. Say something funny, Mike. You're a funny guy.
Dance, clown!
I'm Mike. I'm the rules guy and the game lore guy. And let's see. Last night I spent a fair amount of time building a legacy deck to have just in case for side events for the GP this weekend. And the power going out story that comes to mind, I don't know if it happened during the same hurricane that Brian was talking about. I was in middle school at the time. I can't remember how far apart we are in age. But power went out and mom and dad decided that they would just cook dinner on the grill outside. And I don't know what dad used in the grill, but I remember sitting there at the table in the house, with candles out, but it was still mostly dark, and like eating chicken nuggets that were a little too dry and tasted like wood chips. So he didn't quite do it right.
And I'm Dirk, the self-proclaimed greenest man alive and moral compass of the group. And it's been a weird week. That'll be mine. My blackout story was when I was in high school, I think. One of the big snowstorms came through, and it knocked the power out at our house for about a week. And me being the person I was and not realizing that batteries on computers don't last long, thought, I'll just play a game on, the laptop. Well, the laptop battery lasted about 2 hours before it was gone. And so I was left going, what are we going to do? And so we ended up playing board games. I read, at least a book during the 4 days, I believe, that we had no power, nothing of the sort. When it got dark outside, I was just like, okay, I'm going to bed then. And so, yeah. And then about, like I said, 4 weeks later, or not 4 weeks, 4 days later, the power came back on. I was like, oh, word. Mm-hmm. So one thing that I thought was interesting is my mom took a paper, like Dixie cup. It has to be paper. It can't have any wax in it. She filled it up with water. She put water in it and put an egg in it, stuck it in the wood fireplace, and that cooked the egg, and it made a hard-boiled egg. I did not realize you could do that. Huh. But she did it with a couple of them, so we had hard-boiled eggs the day the power came back on. Like before the power came back on that day.
Man, I would have hated to go hungry, but I guess I would have.
Oh, so Mom, the day the power went out, she had been making a stew, like the biggest crock pot you could find. She'd been making a stew. We ate that for 3 days.
Nice.
And then everything in the refrigerator, as we got stuff, it would just start sticking outside in the snow. So milk and orange juice and all that, it was just like, well, man, it's cold. So we just went outside and just plopped it into the snow to keep it cold.
Again, as a
like, if we're going to be opening the refrigerator constantly for something, just take it out of the refrigerator, stick it in the snow.
Again, as a former resident of Ohio, yeah.
That's how you take care of stuff.
Yeah, no joke.
Man, my weird little story about sitting on the toilet in pitch blackness got turned into this depressing thing of actual people losing power and stuff. So let's go talk about something else.
Like you didn't think a story starting with you on the toilet would
end poorly. Yeah.
Anywhere else.
Yeah, all right. That's a good point. I should have known better. For the record, it was only out, like I said, for like 30 seconds, but it was a very disconcerting 30 seconds.
Well, in horror movies, it only takes 30 seconds for you to die.
I know, that was my thought. When I looked up from my book and turned my head and nothing in my field of view changed, I was like, this isn't good.
This is advanced darkness.
So, right, this is the Mana Pool. We're a magic podcast, believe it or not. So we have news to discuss.
We do have news.
During E3, not at E3 though, because that would be stupid, but during E3, I think E3 is still going, so that's why it's during E3.
Mm-hmm. It ends tomorrow.
Oh, it's been going all week, Dirk.
Oh,
you
I
said
know,
it ends
but
tomorrow,
officially,
didn't you?
like, I either ended today or it ends tomorrow.
Oh, okay. All I heard was tomorrow, and I'm like, it doesn't start tomorrow. Never mind. That was my fault for not being able to hear you. What?
My bad, Joe.
What? So, anyway.
You old fart.
We got some Magic 2020. Core Set 2020. M20. There's so many freaking names for the set. I think the official title is what? Magic Core Set 2020? Okay, nobody else knows either. Great.
I don't know.
Sure.
Let's say yes.
Let's say yes. So, it was on Gizmodo of all places. Because, that's where you go for your Magic news. But what we got were 3 new cards. Of 1 new character.
And I gotta say, before we even get into these, we were having the discussion via email of what to do this week, and Chewy pointed out that we will have to go into M20 previews, like official previews, next week. And I'm like, that can't be right.
Yep.
I looked at the schedule, and I'm like, we talk about never-ending pre-release, but wow. Just, yeah, okay. All right. Feels like we were just talking about Magic, Modern Horizons last week.
Yeah, it's because
we were. So
then
anyway,
we get 2 weeks of M20, and then after that we'll get like a Commander thing, or whatever the summer thing is. So yeah, we don't get to have proper episodes anymore for basically until like September. But it's fine, because by about that time, we'll be able to do another RPG episode. Maybe.
Yeah, probably. Don't want to commit myself to anything too quickly, but yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we got 3 cards from the M20 set. Now, you remember, we just had War of the Spark as the last standard legal set, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And we got super new tech in War of the Spark. And that's planeswalkers of different rarities and planeswalkers with static abilities, right? Well,
right.
Non-loyalty abilities, right?
Right.
Correct.
And I remember thinking, and I think a lot of us did, because I saw this later that day in the Discord server and on Twitter from different people. I hope they don't go back to this well too soon. And then we get an M20 preview, and it's this. Look, it's Chandra.
And, well, should we start with Chandra?
Yeah, let's start with Chandra. Chandra Novice Pyromancer. For 3 and a red, is a legendary planeswalker, Chandra. She starts with 5 loyalty, which is a lot for 4 mana. +1, elementals you control get +2/+0 until end of turn. Ooh. -1, add 2 red mana. Ooh. That's spicy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then -2, Chandra Novice Pyromancer deals 2 damage to any target. So she can either shock or give you mana or pump your elementals. That seems weird and out of place. Oh, also I forgot to mention, this is uncommon.
Yeah.
She's been connected to elementals before, thematically.
I was trying to say, didn't she have an ability where she could like make an elemental? Or
Yeah, there was versions of her. There was a version of her that did that.
Yeah, but this one doesn't. So just give your other elementals +2. That's weird.
play the one that has that, and then play this one, and then you get to swap out abilities.
That's true. So yeah, that's our first card, Chandra Novice Pyromancer. Isn't she cute? Look, it's not baby Chandra because she's a planeswalker, but it's young, unfocused Chandra. Aw,
Yeah.
she's beborable.
Mm-hmm.
Duh.
Duh.
It's all right. Who wants to read the next Chandra?
I'll read the next Chandra.
All right. I mean the next card.
The next card is Chandra. So this is Chandra, Acolyte of Flame. Slightly more advanced Chandra. And she's learning the whole elemental thing a little more. For this one's rare. And for 1 generic and 2 red mana, she comes in with 4 loyalty. She has a I was gonna say a -0, I guess it's technically a +0 as well. She has a 0 ability.
You can't
Put
plus
a-
a 0, Mike. Or
Put
Brian.
a loyalty counter on each
Sure you
red.
can.
Put a
You won't like what happens, but you can try.
hate you all. So 0. Put a loyalty counter on each red planeswalker you control. That's kind of I like what they're doing with the design space here. That's pretty cool, and as it is going to be in standard with War of the Spark, some cross block synergy.
This puts one
another-
on her, doesn't it?
Yeah, because she's
Yeah.
a red
Yeah.
planeswalker you control.
Yeah. So it's a 0, but really it's a 1. But
Yeah, they could have
So-
either made it 0, put a loyalty counter on each red planeswalker you control, or +1, put a loyalty counter on each other red planeswalker you control. Either way, it's the same thing. They went with this one probably because it's less silly. Oh, this one works with doubling season too, so
Or so I think they did it this way so people can say, I see what you did there.
yeah.
it's clever. So it has another 0 ability, and this one actually is 0. Create 2 1/1 red elemental creature tokens. They gain haste. Sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step.
1/1s? That's stupid. What are 1/1s gonna do? We need to pump those somehow.
But what if they cost the same, but were 2 power more?
Ah.
Yeah. So she really likes the other Chandra. So, she puts counters on herself and the other Chandra, and the other Chandra's like, hey, I like your elementals. Let's make them bigger. And finally, -2. You may cast target instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard. Excuse me. If that card would be put into your graveyard this turn, exile it instant. Now notice it does not say without paying the mana cost.
Yeah.
So you still have to pay that. But it gives a small instant or sorcery card in your graveyard flashback.
Pretty much.
That's pretty cool. I like it. But yeah, obviously that it's really cool as well that that they kind of they're best buds, and not to mention they're the same thing, but so they really feed well off of each other.
But you cannot have both of them out at the same time, correct?
You can now. That was
Yep,
the
you
old
Can't
rule.
now. Oh.
But now instead of using a special planeswalker rule, they just used a legend rule. So it's all based on the name. The name
Okay.
of the card.
Yeah.
So you can have them both out. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I thought that was the whole point of it being Legendary Planeswalker Chandra.
Yeah, the reason they switched them over to legendary was so they would start using the legend rule instead of having the separate planeswalker rule.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Over the
before, remember,
years-
planeswalkers didn't have the legendary super type printed on the card.
Yeah,
Oh,
they just
okay.
said planeswalker. Yeah, over the years they've done a lot to get rid of as much rules crap that isn't anywhere on the card that exists on the type line. Like way back when walls were somehow different than non-walls, and the only way you knew that was by knowing that. Some of them had something like walls can't attack in reminder text, maybe. Eventually they had some of that, but they got rid of that and created the defender keyword because that was silly, because how would you know that if you didn't just know that? And the same was with the planeswalker rule. Like, we all know legendary, but that's just one rule you have to learn, as opposed to learning the legendary rule for creatures and the planeswalker type rule for planeswalkers. Just put them all together, it's fine. And they did. Hey! There was another type that I used to have baggage. Do you remember what that was, Mike? Legend. That's the one. Thank you, Wolfie. Yeah, Legend used to be a type, and then they
creature type.
Made it a super type and got rid of some of that confusion.
Yeah. Well, Legendary was a super type, but they would only use it on artifacts and lands.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Legendary was a super type for artifacts and lands, but it was a creature type for creatures.
I had forgotten about that.
So yeah, streamlining the nonsense is always good.
Yeah. So, how about the third card?
I'll take this one. So, Chandra, Awakened Inferno. So, I would say she's a bit further along in her training at this point.
Maybe just a bit,
She ditched the red hair for fire.
Like every good ginger does at some point in their life.
Mm-hmm. Just that one day when you just get on their bad side and all of a sudden their hair turns to fire. It literally takes on the color that we were born with. So it's 4 and 2 red, so grand total is 6 mana for a 6 loyalty legendary planeswalker, Chandra, who's mythic. She has is it static ability? This spell cannot be countered. So you can't counter this one. There's no loyalty, no nothing, just like from War of the Spark. So the first loyalty ability is +2. Each opponent gets an emblem with, at the beginning of your upkeep, this emblem deals 1 damage to you.
Wow.
That's really interesting that her for her first plus ability, makes an emblem. Usually you see emblems on, limit breaks. So, yeah.
So you can just keep giving emblems to people and be like, yeah, I'm just going to keep dealing more damage to you. So this is a stack ability.
And remember...
Oh my gosh.
I bet you if this card was printed in alpha, it would say during that player's upkeep, the player may pay blue to remove one of these emblems or something stupid like that.
Because you have to, pour water on
Because if there's a fire, just put it out with water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just like that this basically says the player continues to burn.
I wonder. Now remember, these are emblems, so there's nothing you can do to remove these currently in the game. The way they're throwing emblems around...
Short of using Karn to restart the game.
Does that even work?
Yeah.
Oh,
restarting the game with Karn will remove emblems.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
I'm wondering if at some point in the not too distant future, if they're actually going to give us some way to interact with emblems.
As a safety valve?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because they've been throwing around a lot of emblems lately.
Mm-hmm.
Like JD Phoenix just pointed out, Gideon of the Trials has a -2 emblem.
Yeah. I don't know. They are special, but if they start using them for more stuff like this, then they aren't as special. And maybe they will need to do something. Like right now, emblems live in the command zone. So they either have to allow interactions with the command zone on like normal cards that aren't specific to a commander precon, or change the way they work somehow.
Well, I don't doubt that'll happen at some point because remember, things that go to the exile that are exiled were thought to be removed from the game, but yet with the Eldrazi, they're like, you know, okay, it's exiled. Well, I can reach through the void and yank that stuff out.
Hey, we had
That's
a whole
true.
episode about that.
Yeah, we
Mhm.
learned on that episode that eventually they just said, you know what? We've been using the remove from game zone for all kinds of game stuff. Let's just not pretend anymore.
Yeah, and hey, you remember when Planeswalkers were always mythic?
Mhm.
So, like, all of these hard and fast rules, like, no, there's no way to interact with emblems. Eventually, I really think we're gonna get some way. It's not gonna be a good card or anything like that. It might even be
Well,
like
the-
on a charm.
It's gonna be
Because
like
there's nothing really
leeches.
to remove poison counters, is there?
There are ways to remove poison counters from your opponent, which you would
Leeches.
never ever do.
Brian just mentioned leeches.
Yeah.
It's going to be some kind of emblem leech. There you go. Confirmed for Corset 2022.
Anyway, that was all conversations just from the first ability. So hey, keep going, Dirt.
All right, the second ability is a -3. Chandra Awakened Inferno deals 3 damage to each non-elemental creature.
Oh man, elementals are cool. It's too bad that she doesn't make any.
Design error.
And if she did, it's too bad they're just stupid 1/1. That's really good though for -3 because you can pay 6 and then torch the world.
Yeah.
And then next turn torch the world again or give them a damage emblem. Like, that seems really good, even for 6
Yeah.
mana.
Yeah.
And multiple people have pointed out in the chat that the Yay Elementals abilities also work really well with various versions of Nissa. And the story, they become pretty close.
Yeah.
That's one way to put it.
So the last ability, the Mythic ability, or the Limit Break ability, Chandra Awakened Inferno deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker. If a permanent dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile instead. So, and it's a -X ability. Sorry, I think I missed that. Point that out. So the Limit Break is a -X, and it deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker. And if it dies, then it's exiled.
Yeah, that's been around for a long time with, what was it, Incinerate?
Mm-hmm.
No, Disintegrate.
Disintegrate.
Well, I know there was a couple red spells that did that.
Oh, but I'm thinking way back. I think Disintegrate was the first one that did that.
Yeah, and it wasn't alpha.
Yeah, and it's been a thing on, no, really, get rid of it, red spells for a good while now, so.
Sort of like it's Cell. You know, if just one cell's left over, Cell comes back from Dragon Ball Z and comes right back. So he was like, no, we have to literally burn him to death so there are nothing left of him. Sort of thing.
Buh.
All the DBZ people are like, yeah.
So yeah, we've got Chandra. And we've got Chandra. And we've got Chandra.
Mm-hmm.
And now, she's the face of M20. She's also the only planeswalker that's getting this rare or uncommon treatment.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't a thing that they're bringing back for M20 for everybody. It's just because they really wanted to show her journey as a planeswalker, so she gets the special treatment.
She's also, as far as we can tell, the face of the Netflix show, which,
I mean, there was a picture that was
There's-
used for promotional purposes, so that's probably a bit of a leap.
that's all we've got, is what I'm saying. I'm just saying that if they're going to put a face out there, I'd much rather it be her than Jace. So I'm okay with this.
Why is everybody all down on Jace? Hasn't Jace paid enough for not doing his job properly?
I do not hate Jace. Not any. I honestly think that they've made his character much more interesting. I'm just saying that I'm perfectly okay with having somebody else in the spotlight for a while. That's all. No haterade.
We didn't talk about the Netflix show on this show, did we?
It
Not
has
yet.
just come
No.
up. They're gonna be doing a Netflix Magic the Gathering show, and it's gonna be animated. And I have mixed feelings about this. I think the potential is really cool. My only issue is that it sounds like it's going to be aimed toward a more mature audience. And I mean, that's fine if that's how they want to do it. But it's something like I was hoping selfishly, hey, Sam's been getting into this more. Here's
Where
something
did
maybe
you
we can
get
enjoy
that
together.
information?
Wasn't it in the article?
Was it? I'm pulling up the article now. Since we haven't talked about it on this show, that was only on Monday Night Magic. Here we go. So yeah, not only is there going to be, and I know this is old news for some of you, but hey, I don't even think we've spoken about it amongst ourselves all that much.
No.
But what? Go away, stupid pop-up. Not only is there going to be an animated MTG show on Netflix coming soon, but it's being headed by the Russo brothers. So, yeah.
They need to take a break anyway. They need to do something low key since, they've just wrapped up some major movie business.
Some major things, yeah. Let's see here. Expand on the stories of the Planeswalkers, blah, blah, blah. It's got some big names attached to it. There are more than the couple listed here. We went into more detail on who's attached to it on Monday Night Magic, at least who we knew at the time. A compelling story leveraging MTG's incredible body of work. Push the medium and perception of storytelling through animation. Cross the genres of suspenseful thriller, horror, and drama with deeply developed characters, the likes of which are not often seen in animation. Is that the part where you got mature from?
Maybe. Do you have that? Where's the? I'm trying to find the actual article.
It's in the Twitch chat.
It's in the Twitch chat. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chewy.
I went to find the Monday Night Magic show notes right here. So I cheated.
Twitch chat.
That was Monday Night Magic number 655, Giant J Space Face, by the way, if you want to go listen to that, dear listeners. But yeah, this is going to be awesome for a variety of reasons. I mean, one, anything that gets Magic out there to the mainstream people is more better.
Sure. If they do half as good a job with this as they did with Castlevania, I'll be very happy.
Right? Dude, Castlevania was so good.
Although I liked the first season better than the second season. Second season felt like a whole lot of politics and then some really awesome action, but a whole lot of, talking.
I need to watch that again.
Give me more zombies
I watched it
being,
recently. It was
blown
awesome.
up.
But anyway, so yeah, not only is this because it's, I forgot what I was saying, because it's good for opening up, Magic to the greater world, but the Russo brothers literally just came off one of the biggest movies ever, so the spotlight is on them.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the next thing that they do is gonna be... is just automatically going to get lots of attention. And the next thing they're doing is magic.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's sort of like the guys who did Game of Thrones are doing a Star Wars series, movie, something of that sort.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's getting a lot of press too. Just anyone who's involved in a big project that's been super successful, that they're definitely in the spotlight. And as Chewy said, I'm glad that Magic's getting a little bit of this too. There are some really long-running series that really just need to receive some love.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I personally am excited. I don't know anything. I mean, we don't know anything else yet. We haven't seen any like art style or anything, but so
Yeah.
I like all kinds of animations. So if it's like the CG looking thing, like Star Wars, what was it? Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Was Rebels the CG one, or was Rebels the one that looked more animated? Like traditionally,
There's all of them have been that.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
Like Clone Wars, Rebels, and oh gosh.
Well, no, Joe, you're talking about the Jendy Tartakovsky one.
yeah. Was that Star Wars? I literally have not watched any sort of Star Wars series ever, so I don't know what they look like. Hang on, let me go look it up.
Yeah,
Star
Rebels,
Wars.
Clone Wars, and Resistance are the three, and they're all CGI.
Okay, yeah. So like this.
Resistance has sort of cell shaded, so it looks a little different. Yeah.
Okay,
So it was another more traditionally animated one back in the day.
Oh, the original. There was the Clone Wars and then Clone Wars. So, and that one was traditionally animated, and that was by Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
That's not confusing.
Yeah,
I know.
not at all. But anyway, yeah. So whether they go more CG or some sort of traditional animation, it could look like Gravity Falls for all I care. I'm in. I mean, Gravity Falls doesn't look bad by any stretch of the imagination. Gravity Falls is actually one of the better like for kids cartoons in recent years. I use for kids in quotes. It's on my Hulu, I think. I just haven't started watching it because I'm watching like 8 other shows. But yeah, it could look like Steven Universe for all I care, which I do not like the visual look of Steven Universe at all. I'm still in.
What if it looked like Batman the Animated Series?
Then I will die. I will have a giant orgasm and die.
All right, good to know.
Because Batman the Animated Series is easily one of my favorite animated styles ever.
It's pretty good.
So yeah, like I said, we don't know yet. I don't care. I'm in. I'll watch it, and I will hopefully enjoy it. Hopefully.
In air quotes.
Yeah, hopefully. But anyway, so how about you guys? Anything else to add on that?
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll hear a little more about that than about the movie.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait till it gets closer to the release.
Yeah, which we also don't know. Unless that's been announced since then. Excuse me. There's not much information in this article, actually. I seem to remember there being more. Maybe there was... I think there were some tweets or other interviews with the Russos where more information was thrown out.
Probably.
That I just sort of absorbed at the time. That's probably it. So, yeah. So, of course, as you hear more news, you'll hear about that from us. Because... Duh. That's what we're here to talk about. Is... all of these aspects of this card game that aren't playing the card game. So a Netflix show is perfect. What was the name? What damn it. What is the episode we did on a movie?
Was that the one where we talked with
Alex and Sharon? Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go. So, if you would like to listen to us with Alex and Sharon Shaw of School of Movies, talk at length about what a magic movie or anything really could be about. Boom, it's episode 393, oddly enough entitled School of Movies Epic Crossover. So, there's...
Yeah, I couldn't remember whether that was a Manipool episode or a School of Movies episode.
Yeah. It was us, though. So there you go. Go give that a listen. And that was recorded way back in October of 2015. So it's only 3.5 years old.
Yeah, it took Spider-Man like 20 plus years to get made. Yeah, there's still time.
Totally. But yeah, if the show does well, that might renew interest in a movie
Mm-hmm.
or other things. So hey, this is a good first step.
Heck,
There
they
you
might
go.
even just do a Netflix movie.
I mean, I'd be cool with that as long as it's better than Bright.
That would not take me.
Sorry, did I laugh? Because I meant to laugh. If I didn't, I thought I did. I wasn't sure. But anyway, so I guess we should talk about Magic, the card game again, huh?
Yeah,
Sort of.
probably a good idea.
Technically, kind of. So the other thing we're gonna do is fall out of my chair backwards. The other thing we're gonna do this episode is do a Mythic Conscription for Weatherlight. Now, we were gonna do a Mythic Conscription of Weatherlight back during the whole War of the Spark is the new set time period. But for a variety of reasons, we ended up skipping recording that week. And then there was always something else going on.
Yeah.
So we never actually did it. So at the time, Weatherlight was the beginning of the first storyline in Magic that would go across multiple years. Whereas War of the Spark was the end of the most recent one. So you see there were some parallels. And then, well, Wizards wouldn't let us because previews and things. So
Previews, more previews.
yeah,
I like previews, but wow, it's a lot of previews.
It was a lot of previews.
Yeah. So Weatherlight.
So Mythic Conscription, by the way, is where we go back to old sets that came before the Mythic rarity and go through the rares and try to figure out which of these, if any, would have been Mythic. And we're really bad at it, and sometimes we look at Mythic then, and sometimes we look at Mythic now, and it's we're horribly inconsistent, so apologies ahead of time.
Yeah.
We always point out how we're inconsistent though, so it's fine. So, Weatherlight. When was Weatherlight?
97? That's not right.
Nope, that's
96?
right. June,
Okay.
actually, yeah, this month, in 1997.
Oh, neat.
In fact, 4 days ago. 5 days ago. Sorry, June 9th, 1997. So that's only what? 22 years?
22 years, yes.
Nice. Buh. Anything we need to talk about in this one? I don't think so, because we do all that when we do the do we want to live there things.
Yeah.
But this was the third set in the Mirage block.
Right.
So we had Mirage and Visions and then Weatherlight, which is only moderately related.
Yeah, really the only reason it's part of the Mirage block is because of the setting. The story, the main story going on in Mirage and Visions was really already resolved. And this is picking up with Sisse gets kidnapped. Gerard has to get the band back together and go find her.
That makes sense. And apparently, the Weatherlight saga went until 2001. Good lord.
Yeah, because that was
Finished in Apocalypse.
that was the Apocalypse. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was, yeah. Wow. I knew it went for a while. I didn't realize it was like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. How long did we have for the what ended with War of the Spark?
Yeah,
Depends on where you
It's-
start measuring.
exactly. That's the thing. Because they said they were really focusing on it since Amonkhet, but that's not that long ago. So
Like you could stretch it and say it reaches back to Time Spiral,
yeah,
when Nicol Bolas would have started his plan to regain godhood.
basically when he was reincarnated as well at the same time. Because until then he was trapped in. He didn't have a body, so yeah.
Okay, let's see.
So
So,
time spiral was a big thing for him.
War of the Spark, the 2 Ravna cassettes.
Yep. But the
Before
Gatewatch
that
first.
was Dominaria. Before that was Ixalan. And Amonkhet was right before that. Actually, no, it started in Kaladesh too, because that's when
the Gatewatch caught wind of stuff going on.
Yeah.
That's when they first realized Nicol Bolas was this super duper threat behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So
Of course, you could also argue that.
So if you start measuring the current story from the beginning of the Gatewatch, that makes sense. Kaladesh.
Yeah.
Well, no, I guess.
Yeah, that's not the beginning of the Gatewatch.
Never mind. Yeah, Battle for Zendikar.
And even then, prior to that, Sarkhan Vol was sent by Nicol Bolas back when he was still being controlled by Nicol Bolas to release the seal on the Eldrazi, basically to almost force a group of planeswalkers to come together to try and fight the Eldrazi. So you could even say that back in original Zendikar block, Nicol Bolas' influence is being felt. So,
well, that's pushing it. Like this specific story, it feels like started in Kaladesh.
Started in Kaladesh, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
This specific
Probably.
story that just got resolved.
About 2.5 years. Little less, little more rather. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because before then, Nicol Bolas was doing stuff, but it was like I have no idea what the heck he's doing.
Yeah. Now
the story wasn't about that conflict.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Whereas Kaladesh is really where events that directly led to this happened, rather than just vague things that were things.
And they're happening in the foreground and not in the background.
Right. Okay. So there
Fair
you go.
enough.
And there was some Weatherlight fatigue around the time that it ended, from what I've been able to put together.
Yeah, I mean,
because
even
5 years is a long time. Like, I know Brian has been sick of the Gatewatch for like 4 years, and they haven't even been going that long. So
yeah, I mean, yeah. Even when I was a newer player, I heard from a lot of people. They were like, "Hey, this storyline's pretty cool, but can we get something else?" So.
Oh, hey, that was Talarian W following. Hey, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the pool. Talarian, whoop. So, that takes us to Weatherlight.
It does. Okay, good night, everybody.
Well, good night, yeah. All right, so, Weatherlight. We've got to figure out what would be mythic here. So, let's go with white. Now, ignore Gerard's Wisdom. Gerard's Wisdom was uncommon in Weatherlight. It was rare later in, I think it was a starter set, or, starter 99, yeah.
There's a couple. In each color except green, there's a card that was uncommon here, but then rare in a starter set or a portal set.
Yeah, so ignore Gerard's Wisdom, ignore Phantom Warrior, ignore Hidden Horror. These should be relatively easy. And ignore Lava Hounds, which wasn't rare until 8th edition because core set. And also, isn't 8th edition when they were scaling back on the difficulty? Like the complexity in core sets?
Possibly.
Maybe.
That was the new card frame.
Oh, that was the new card frame. I can't remember when the whole we're scaling back on the complexity thing happened.
New World Order?
In core sets, no. Because they also didn't have, like, trample and protection, or it only appeared on rares.
Yeah, that might have been.
I know that was a thing in 9th edition. Like, trample and protection only appeared on rares. They might not have appeared at all in 8th edition. I'd have to look at the set. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm sure that there was some explanation at the time of why Lava Hounds is suddenly rare, but that's irrelevant for this conversation because it's not in this set. So, sorry, I sidetracked us.
So, white. I struggled. I was like, wow, is this going to be the story for the whole set? And at least it wasn't, but I struggled. I have two maybes. So my first maybe is Peacekeeper, just because of the effect it has on the board. So for 2 and a white, it is a 1/1 Peacekeeper. Hey, what's that going to be now?
It's a human now.
It's a human. He's a jobless human. His job is making sure everybody else doesn't die. 1/1. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Peacekeeper unless you pay 1 and white. And his static ability is creatures can't attack. So that's a big ability. And it's not like it's a cumulative upkeep where it's cumulative upkeep, pay 1 and a white. It's just a straight pay 1 and a white, which you should be able to do because you cast this guy. So unless you were like, turn 1, Black Lotus, crack it, Peacekeeper, go. Turn 2, oops. But, this is a fundamental thing. Like, despite, yes, you can have combo decks, you can have control decks, but one of the main ways to kill your opponent is with creatures. And how do you kill them? You usually like ram them into your face over and over again. So I don't know if I was completely sold, but I thought, yeah, maybe he's got a shot. What do you guys think?
I agree. Peacekeeper was one of the ones that I identified, and it's because of that huge board effect.
And also,
doesn't destroy anything, but it is a big board effect.
Well, not only is it a big board effect, but it's a big board effect that you can get rid of on your turn so you can attack.
You'd be like, yeah, I'm ready to do this now.
So it's not like as symmetrical as you might think, which makes it even better.
You know what else is a symmetrical effect that you can choose to end during your turn? Stasis.
Boo this man. Yeah, actually, I'm using Gatherer because when I did a search on Scryfall because I really want to switch over to Scryfall for my searching because it's just better. But the presentation of just the images for you guys actually look kind of like ass, so that's why I'm still using Gatherer. But I did pull up Scryfall before we started the show and go, I don't like this. This is ugly. So, for the purposes of just showing it to the stream and for the video, we'll stick with Gatherer.
So do we think the Peacekeeper could have maybe been Mythic?
Yeah.
What it did? Okay.
Because, like you said, that's pretty big, and it's rare. Like, okay, wrong word. It's not a common thing. No.
It's not.
It's unique.
It's uncommon to see.
There you
Wait.
go.
Hold on. It's legendary. No, hang on. That's different.
Time shifted. Wait a minute.
Wait, no.
Dirk
Pre-release box. Wait, no.
What about me?
I hadn't heard anything from you, so you're a rarity now. Congratulations.
I moved
the
up
other
in the world.
The other one I thought was a maybe was.
Did you know you can get up to 3 Dirks in a pack?
I am so sorry for you if you did.
That's some crazy pulls if that happens. My other maybe was Alabaster Dragon, and I feel like it's probably a solid rare, but again for some uniqueness factor, for 4 and 2 white, 4/4 flying dragon, and when it dies, shuffle it into its owner's library. So you might go, oh, that's amazing! It never dies.
It's sort of like, what was the Incarnations and the Eldrazi do this? Like
There
bigger?
are.
Yeah, the big Lorwyn incarnations.
Oh, those
Yeah.
were incarnations. I was like, what? No, you want them in the graveyard. No, that's the wrong ones. Excuse me.
No, yeah, it's funny that they gave them the same creature type as creatures
The
that you
things you want in the
specifically
graveyard.
want to have in your graveyard, and they can't stay in your graveyard. So, but I mean, they've done this as well with other things that they're just afraid of people reanimating, like Sarah Avatar. It kind of makes a little bit of flavor sense with Sarah Avatar, but it's more like, hey, we don't want you to be able to be like, drop this in your graveyard. resurrected.
Yeah. You can do that with Alabaster Dragon because this only happens when it dies.
Correct.
I mean, but it's just a 4/4 with flying, so it's not super unfair to reanimate it early.
It's kind of a Sarah Angel with a bit of an upside.
Mm.
So I don't know. What do you guys think?
At the time, it's possible.
Maybe.
It didn't really strike me as something to talk about, but I see where you're coming from.
Well, I really felt like Peacekeeper was the stronger entry.
Mhm.
Any other candidates?
Mike had at least
from
one
White?
more.
Okay.
Yes, and the other one that I would highlight would actually be Southern Paladin,
Really?
and partly because it's a callback to Northern Paladin.
Mm-hmm.
Because 2 white, it's a 3/3 knight, probably a human knight. I'm not looking at the Oracle text.
It is.
And the ability is white tap, destroy target red permanent. Just up and destroy target red permanent.
Boom.
Mm-hmm. And Northern Paladin was this might be falling apart. I didn't check to see when the last time Northern Paladin had been printed. Northern Paladin was originally from Alpha, and it was pretty much the same thing, except the ability said destroy target black permanent. But Gatherer,
Northern Paladin was originally an alpha, has been reprinted as late as 7th edition.
But before this, it was printed in 4th edition. Okay, so never mind.
Oh, yeah.
Northern Paladin had been printed recently enough. I thought it was a little more special than that.
So more of a, hey, you haven't seen this in 5 years, 6 years, so.
Yeah, okay, never mind. I'm going to rescind my highlight for Southern Paladin.
Just kidding.
I thought that reference would have made it special, but I don't know. I don't think Northern Paladin would have been mythic in its sets, so.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I'm not seeing the Southern Paladin as mythic either.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to call Debt of Loyalty as a control magic in white?
I think I saw it, I'm like, that's kind of cool, but.
It's an instant.
Yes, it is.
You're at that time. I don't think it would have been.
Wouldn't it have to be though? I mean, I guess you'd set up a regeneration shield that the opponent would see coming like a mile away.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't say if.
Yeah, it does.
If. Okay.
The Oracle text that it has now actually reflects the way it worked back then.
Yeah, regenerate target creature. You gain control of that creature if it regenerates this way.
Okay. This way, this turn, or
and I think I'm remembering this correctly. The way the rules worked back then is that you couldn't really play damage prevention or regeneration effects unless the creature was about to die.
And
you could only play them in that damage prevention window.
And this doesn't say until end of turn, so it's just
the regeneration
right now.
Shield doesn't last forever.
Right.
Okay.
So is this one where you could just, because you can regenerate a creature at any time, you could just play this at any time and just get a creature?
Okay, let's go back to the Oracle text. It says regenerate target creature.
Yep.
You gain control of that creature if it regenerates this way. So you only gain control if the creature actually gets regenerated by that shield. What I was trying to say earlier was that at the time this card was printed, the rules worked in such a way that you would only be allowed to play this
if the creature was about to die.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Which is the proper way to play it.
Because that goes along with the name Debt of Loyalty, where the creature's dying, and so
I saved you. You
owe me a debt.
Yeah.
I own you now.
Yeah, it's not like I saved you from what? Oh, things.
Now get in the sack. No.
I think that one's questionable, but it's a corner case.
Yeah.
Again, it doesn't have the universal, this completely changed the game. This is, if I'm somehow able to throw enough things in the way of your big thing that I can kill it, then I can have your big thing.
This is the definition of situational, and that you have to have the right card at the right time at the right moment and have the right mana.
Right.
It's also
Yeah.
that's every card, Brian. It's like Dies to Doomblade. Shut up. It also is way out of the color pie for white these days. Back then,
You think so?
gain
Yeah,
control
you're
of
probably
target
right.
creature in white. Yeah, it is. Now, these days, though, back then, though, white randomly got gimme that here and there. It was very strange. You remember Preacher? What?
Yeah, but your opponent got to pick.
But still,
I
it was a
remember
white
Preacher.
card that said, gimme that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just threw it out there because I knew it would lead to a somewhat interesting discussion. So hey, look, there you go.
There you go. Are we good to move on?
I do love Inner Sanctum, but I don't know if it would be Mythic. I'll just mention it there.
Okay. So, Dirk, anything else from white?
Nope.
Well, then, Dirk, what did you have in blue?
I hadn't really gone through blue yet.
Hey Brian,
Okay.
what did you have in blue?
Yeah, I was about to say.
I was
Skip.
considering. I was considering Paradigm Shift. I'm not sure about it, but I had my eye on that, and I had it on Pendril Mists. But so Paradigm Shift for 1 and a blue. Let's get the Oracle text up here. It's a sorcery. Exile all cards from your library, then shuffle your graveyard into your library. So black does this for what, 7 mana in Odyssey? Or it actually exchanges your graveyard with your library.
Yeah, Morality Shift switches them.
Okay. This actually just exiles, but it's a very, very similar effect. So for 2 mana, this is pretty extreme. I feel like it can definitely alter the way the game is going. But I will not, if somebody has a serious objection to it, I won't be heartbroken, because I was like, that's kind of neat, but I was like, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I remember this was a key part of Corey's ridiculous Fog Hurricane deck.
The one with the Hermit Druids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Paradigm Shift is a pretty big, unique effect. I think that's a good call.
Okay. Chewy?
Possibly. I don't know. It doesn't feel super mythic-y to me, but
See, that's where I'm
it
kind of
could
at.
just be me.
No, I don't disagree with you, but do you think it's just enough to get there?
Maybe.
Maybe. And then Pendril Mists for
That's the
3.
only one I saw.
That's the only one you saw? Okay.
Yeah.
For 3 and a blue, it's an enchantment. All creatures have, at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice this creature unless you pay 1 generic mana.
Because that can be a big effect if someone is running an army.
If they're going
Like a white weenie army, this essentially puts a lid on that.
if they are, as we say, going wide, if they're having multiple creatures out, it either makes them sacrifice a bunch, or it's tying up all their mana every turn, or some combination of that. It may not be entirely one or the other. It may be a little bit of both. Mike?
I thought about it, but yeah, thinking about it some more, I'm just not sure.
Okay.
It can be. It really depends on what it's paired with in terms of how impactful it is.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
Because
I can see
It
this
does-
going in Chewy's old blue crap deck.
Dude, if I had one, it would have been in the blue crab deck. Straight up.
Tell the listeners what your blue crap deck tried to
God,
do.
the blue crap deck was a mono blue deck that used a bunch of these old taxing effects.
Psychic Venom.
Yeah, Psychic Venom to make you want to not tap your lands, and all of the pirates from
Mercadia.
Yeah, Mercadian Masks. So when they enter the battlefield, everyone has to pay some mana or sacrifice something or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Sacrifice a permanent or.
But every card in the deck was essentially there to just piss my opponents off, and it only really worked a couple times.
I thought it was hilarious.
Of course you did.
So yeah, this would have fit right in there.
Wolfie Harvell says in chat, it's the effect of a $2,500 land, so yeah. But honestly, at this time, I wouldn't be surprised if the Tabernacle was like $12 when Pendrel Mist was printed.
Anything else in blue anybody sees?
I was going to call out Psychic Vortex because of the very, very unique way it's put together.
Okay, what's it do?
So for 2 blue, it's an enchantment with a cumulative upkeep, and the cumulative upkeep cost is draw a card. And the effect is at the end of each of your turns, sacrifice a land and discard your hand.
I will say it's a really neat flip on it, where almost every other card is cumulative upkeep, some drawbacks, something you don't want to do, and then some positive effect that makes you want to pay the upkeep. And then this is the exact opposite, where cumulative upkeep is something you actually really want to do, but the effect of the card on the field is very detrimental to you.
Yeah.
Even if you do like milling yourself.
So you would play this on an opponent, right?
No.
You would play as yourself?
Yes, Dirk.
This doesn't sound like a very good card.
I like where Dirk's mind goes. He's immediately like, hey, let's donate this sucker.
Like, okay, Akimo is like, draw a card, okay, but I sacrifice and discard my hand. That doesn't sound like a good thing.
Dirk does not like that. Dirk does not approve.
Dirk
No,
also
it's-
doesn't do drawbacks, though.
Yeah.
No.
You get to see a ton of cards. I mean, I love drawing cards and discarding cards, so of course I'm going to be drawn to this.
Oh, so it gets a age counter. So that means each turn you get more cards. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So the first turn, the cost is draw a card, and then next one, the cost is draw 2 cards. 3, 4, 5.
Although before you ever draw any extra cards, the turn you play this, you're gonna have to sack a land and discard your hand. So
Yeah, that is a small problem.
But if you could somehow exile it,
then it'll almost be like you didn't play it at all.
well, no, I'm just like, if you could exile your hand and your graveyard, and then be able to play cards from the exiled section, then really it's not a drawback now, is it?
Can we get an inverted bottled cloister where you don't have a hand during your turn?
Dirk is only making like 10 other cards to make this card work.
Oh gosh, what was that game variant that Mike Okuhara suggested one time? Was it called Tomato? Where like certain keywords they just got replaced with some other game term, and he tried to play that way. I bet Psychic Vortex would be a good card in the Tomato format.
I have no knowledge of this.
You don't remember that?
That's probably
I
a
don't.
good thing.
It's pretty hilarious.
All right, anything else in blue?
No, blue is kind of bad.
I struggle with white. I struggle with blue.
Like, Paradigm
Um,
Shift is... It's weird, but I don't know if it's mythic-y. Pendrel Mists doesn't feel mythic-y, and Psychic Vortex doesn't feel like a magic card. So...
Dirk's like, it's not.
Oh,
I think Dirk will sleep better once he puts Psychic Vortex out of his mind.
yeah.
Ooh, that gives. I'm gonna tape a psychic vortex card to the ceiling right above Dirk's bed. So he wakes up and that eye is the first thing he sees in the morning, and he's like, "How do I play you?"
Just make it the background on his cell phone.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's all I gotta do is put
That'd
it
be
on your
pretty
screen,
sweet.
and every
That's
time
home
Brian calls
invasion.
me, it'll be the image of like, why is he doing that?
And of course, Mike goes, "That would be pretty sweet." Oh my God, let's go to Black.
Yeah, that
All
as
right.
a cell phone
What?
background, that'd be
No,
awesome.
the card, not the art.
Oh,
They didn't miss out on that delicious, delicious text.
Yeah, which is the whole problem here. Anyway, so Black.
So Black. I mean, there's one here. There's two that I really like, but I mean, there's one here that has got to be a knockout, right?
yes.
Mike.
If anything in
Mike.
this set would be mythic,
It's
Doomsday
Gallowbraid.
would be mythic.
Oh.
It's Doomsday.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
Doomsday.
he killed
And-
Superman, spoilers. So got-
Too soon.
he got better.
So, Mike, I mean, you're infamous in our group for running a Doomsday deck. So, what does Doomsday do? Doomsday.
Okay, it's not a Doomsday deck in the sense that it's like
Okay,
it
you
wins in the
run
same way that a
Doomsday.
vintage deck with Doomsday would win. It's a deck that has Doomsday in it.
You run exactly X number of Doomsdays more than I ever have, where X is the number of times you've run Doomsday. So, what's it do?
All right, black, black, black. It's a sorcery. Search your library and graveyard for 5 cards and exile the rest. Put the chosen cards on top of your library in any order. You lose half your life, rounded up.
Don't you usually go get like 5 corrupts and another Doomsday?
4 corrupts and another Doomsday.
Yeah, that would be why. Sorry.
Yes.
Oops. You knew what I was trying to say.
If I get 5 corrupts, you need to call a judge.
That's effectively what you're doing, though, with the other Doomsday. So,
Yes.
technically, you're getting 8 corrupts. I mean,
Be
Yeah.
mindful, Doomsday doesn't exile itself. So you can keep looping these for as long as you have the life to do it with.
And if
so,
you're casting your corrupts, you have the life to do it with.
Yes.
and that's just how Mike did. You could do this any number of ways.
Yeah.
So,
Like Vintage has a ridiculous Laboratory Maniac combo that you can do.
I mean, yeah, this is Mythic, right? You
I mean,
exile
pretty
your
sure.
library. That's a huge effect, but then you get to pick 5 cards, and they are your deck. Hello, combos.
My
Hello,
old
the
friends.
5 cards. Yeah, it's evocative. Even the fact that it's 3 black, it makes you go, oh wow, this is. Pay attention. So yeah, Mythic. Any other Mythics in black?
Ding, that was easy.
No.
I like Gallowbraid, and it's a pretty good rare. Maybe
It's
it's
a-
not a great rare,
It's a pretty
but
good uncommon.
is it uncommon?
I mean,
I thought hidden horror was uncommon.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Gallowbraid is a pretty good uncommon. I don't even know, like in quality wise.
Yeah, the Jin looks at this and was like, "That's cute."
Yeah, because cumulative
Although the-
upkeep on life is way different.
But the Jin doesn't have trample, does it?
No.
So,
But Morinfin has flying.
And it's a
Yeah.
legendary creature.
and also has cumulative upkeep 1 life.
Yeah.
But they don't have any flying defenses, then you can win the game way before that cumulative upkeep affects you.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's the game plan you want to try to execute going with
Yes.
Calibrate or Morinfin. I believe story-wise, they were 2 horrible creatures that were chasing and tormenting Krovax and his family.
I think that's right.
Selenia used to offer some protection from them, but then Selenia went missing.
Selenia kind of was like the crazy turn dark angel long before Avacyn.
Hmm.
Man, these cards just aren't good, are they? Like looking at the rest of Black.
They're neat. They're not mythic. I love Bone Dancer. It's awesome, but it's not mythic.
Yeah. Well, that's
I
what
like-
I meant. Sorry.
And I like Wave of Terror, but
I
really
love
could've-
Wave of Terror, but also not
I
mythic. Yeah.
I could have sworn there was another black one, another black card that I was like, yeah, that feels mythic. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, no. So, and even if it was, it'd be nowhere near Doomsday, but still.
I do like Infernal Tribute, not for mythic. I just like it.
Mm-hmm.
For black, it's an enchantment that says pay 2 and sacrifice a non-token permanent because it says card in play, and that's what card in play means in current rules. Draw a card.
Yeah.
So like,
And
that's cool.
It's like a weird. It's a way in black to get out from under the boot of one of your other black cards that you that has started to get out of control with its
Yeah.
drawback.
And that's really cool because that's pretty rare.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty mythic, actually.
Not really,
sorry.
no. But
I'm sorry. It's not.
anyway, so red.
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 I remember as a I almost said younger player. I guess I was younger at the time. As a newer player, looking through Weatherlight, and if there's one thing that stood out to me, it was that the art on Dwarven Thermagist, whatever that guy is just weird.
Thaumaturgist.
I'm like, why is someone? This looks like. Okay, I can't draw, and I do not want to disrespect any artist, especially when it's paid. But I'm like, it looks so basic and so like.
Well, it doesn't fit with the rest of the Magic art.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't fit.
So I realized that we're a lot looser with the standards. Then look at Ice Age and what's that creature type in Ice Age that everyone looked different. Bogarden. Or
The Keldons?
the Keldons in Ice Age.
The Balduvians.
Valduvians, thank you. Yeah. So, but I was still like, huh. But no, it's not a mythic card. Why are we talking about it? It's my fault. Bad Brian. It's just what stood out.
I mean, most things are. Your fault.
Yes, I don't disagree. What do we think of Meraxis of Keld?
He is a big, important dude.
He's like a super duper Keldoran warlord.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
He's
If
a
you actually
figure-
want to play the game, then you're kind of.
What's he do?
impacted. So for 4 red, he's a legendary. I'm not looking at it. Legendary human barbarian. I'm guessing. What is he?
Warrior.
Human warrior, actually.
Human warrior. Okay.
Oh, he can get pumped by Cold Eyes, Lavisa.
Yes.
And he can
And,
run past cowards.
Yes, he can. You can't block. Wow.
It has this. Meraxis has a star power and toughness, and that's because the power and toughness are each equal to the total number of untapped artifacts, creatures, and lands you control.
Like, that feels pretty good if you want to do things during your second main.
Yeah, or during your opponent's turn.
So, yeah.
And he's a figure in the story, right? I mean, he's not important for very long because he dies, but
There's
he's
that.
he's in the story of the set. He's a legendary creature, and he's a kind of. I mean, you pay attention when there's a star. So, I think nowadays he'd probably be fairly solidly red, depending on the environment. Borderline uncommon. You might need to push him a little more in some direction to make him mythic. But I feel like at the time, yeah, he'd probably be mythic. What do you think?
Could have been.
Could have been. I mean, he does get the story legend buff that you would sometimes get back then.
Yeah.
Also, if you go back to Debt of Loyalty, I think that corpse standing between or laying between Gerard and Stark, not Maximum, but Stark with an E, is Meraxis of Keld, isn't he?
Yes, that is Meraxis.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was fighting Gerard, and Stark kind of stabbed him in the back.
Like you do. But yeah, it's possible he would have been one of our story legends mythics at the time, because he could have been pretty big, and big things were bigger then, because creatures were generally worse back in this time, as we keep saying.
Yeah, you just have to be careful about how you played after you got them on the field, because you wouldn't want to accidentally, if you're casting something after combat, you wouldn't want to accidentally tap your lands down so far that the marked damage would just make them up and die. So you got to pay attention to what's going on.
Oh yeah, that's true. So let's say you've got, I don't know, 8 things that are untapped, and you swing with Miraxis, and they throw like a 2/2 in front of him so they don't take 8, right?
Yeah.
And then you tap your 6 lands that you had already in play to cast him. So you tap those to cast something else. Well, now he's a 2/2 with 2 damage on him.
Yes.
Whoops! But anyway.
Anything else in red?
Thundermare was the big marketing card.
Yeah.
I mean,
these days is silly.
It's basically a lava axe, right? Or lightning axe, or whichever one deals 5 to an opponent.
Actually, yeah.
Potentially repeatable one.
Potentially.
As a creature.
Although it leaves you tapped down too. So
yeah.
I'll just play this guy and tap all your guys and swing with, just my one guy. Oh, you're a lot. Oh.
So he's, for 5 in a red, it's a 5/5 elemental horse that had haste, which was still relatively rare back in the day on big creatures.
Mm-hmm.
And when it enters the battlefield, you tap all other creatures. So he's getting in for 5 damage. He's not getting blocked.
Yeah.
So, and this was one of the big marketing pushes. This was the card they put in Inquest. They were like, look! And even then I was like, wow, 5 damage!
Mm-hmm.
For 6 mana. Huh.
I mean, you might get in there again.
Well, right? a big creature that's unaffected by summoning sickness. That's
and unlike Ball Lightning, this one didn't die. So that's important.
Mm-hmm.
And then the art that they had on all the marketing stuff was Firestorm. I remember seeing Firestorm's art blown up real big in ads on Inquest. Mm-hmm. Not the card itself, just the art. And okay. That art's pretty badass, I guess.
I really like Firestorm.
Well, of course you do. You've killed us all with Firestorm.
He has done that, yes.
Is Firestorm mythic?
It might be. You can deal a lot of damage. You have to have enough. You have to have enough targets.
Yeah, that gets exponential fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it does not. It's an X red spell that doesn't actually cost X.
Yeah. So to recap, for 1 red mana, it's an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, discard X cards. Firestorm deals X damage to each of X targets. So, if I want to, and I have done this before, I could play Firestorm and discard 5 cards to deal 5 damage to each of 5 targets. I have to have 5 targets to pick from. But in a big game, that's not very difficult. In a 2-player game, you might run into some issues, but hey, that might just, but maybe it gives you the opportunity to clear your opponent's board completely, which is always great.
Or you do crazy Mike shenanigans and get 15 cards in hand and kill literally all of us.
Yes.
And our creatures, because you need 15 targets. But in a 4-player game, it's not hard.
It still just costs a single red.
So I could see that just because it's weird, but at large quantities it's really good. But then, like you said, you've got to have the targets, so maybe not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
What about Goblin Bomb? It's one of those sort of kind of alternate win conditions.
Yeah, an
But it's
alternate
a
win
really
condition
bad
is, and maybe as the goofy mythic. Every once in a while, there's a goofy mythic.
Yeah.
Red rare enchantments, everybody.
Yeah. So for 1 and a red, it's a rare enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may flip a coin. If you win the flip, you put a fuse counter on Goblin Bomb. If you lose the flip, you remove a fuse counter. Okay? And then the important bit, remove 5 fuse counters from Goblin Bomb and sacrifice it. It deals 20 damage to target player or planeswalker.
Which at the time would have read just player, so...
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it did. But, like, that whole 20 damage thing, that essentially back then sort of kind of says you win the game if you get 5 fuse counters on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stark pointed out if this was made today, it'd be a rare red artifact. Yeah, totally. It might not even be red. It might just require red mana in the activation or something.
Yeah, it's very exciting, but after you stop and think about the way the math works on this,
it's not exciting at all.
it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
This is not going to happen.
No, but it's still neat.
Yeah, well, especially once you happen to get up to like 3, then everybody starts to pucker.
Yeah.
It's like, is he going to kill me? He might kill me. But yeah, the rest of red is kind of... Right?
But hey, at least we're having some discussions about it.
And it's funny I made the crack about red rare enchantments when Heart of Bogarden is right beside it. But Heart of Bogarden is actually pretty compelling.
I used to love this card, dude.
Mm-hmm.
What's it do?
Another, so there was a cycle of cards in, maybe not even just a cycle, but a little theme of cards in Weatherlight that used cumulative upkeep in an unusual way. We had a quick mention of Inner Sanctum earlier. We talked about Psychic Vortex earlier. There's Galabrate and Marinfin. Well, Wave of Terror uses cumulative upkeep in a unusual way.
Yeah.
Heart of Bogarden also does. The cumulative upkeep is 2 generic mana. And the Oracle text that I will read right now says, when a player doesn't pay Heart of Bogarden's cumulative upkeep, Heart of Bogarden deals X damage to target player or planeswalker. And each creature that player or that planeswalker's controller controls, where X is what in the heck?
Yup.
Where X is twice the number of age counters on Heart of Bogarden -2. Okay, that's how they had to. I should have just read the printed text.
Yeah.
The printed text is if the cumulative upkeep cost isn't paid, Heart of Bogarden deals damage equal to its last paid cumulative upkeep to target player and each creature he or she controls. All that extra stuff piled in the Oracle text was so that is for Magic Ease to make the card actually work this way.
Yeah.
So yes, so like if last turn you paid 6 mana into Heart of Bogarden's cumulative upkeep, and this turn you don't pay the cost, then you'll sacrifice it and it'll deal 6 damage to one of your opponents and all their stuff.
Yeah. It's really neat. I don't think it's mythic, but it's really neat. I had one of these a long time ago that I would just randomly throw in decks that had red in them because why not? All right, so green, I guess?
Yeah, green.
All right, green.
Call of the Wild.
Yeah.
Calling it now. Call of the Wild.
Yeah, this is like the Doomsday, but in green.
A little bit. 2 and 2 green. It's enchantment. Pay 2 and 2 green. Reveal the top card for your library. If it's a creature card, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your graveyard. Thinking of dinner made Squee realize that the forest was probably thinking the same.
And if Bill was here, he would agree.
So, yeah, you can get a creature no matter how large for free if it happens to be the top card of your library. A way to circumvent mana costs is always always consideration.
Oh, I didn't almost break anything. Shut up.
And so I think there's that. And then I look at the rest of green and I'm like, yeah, I think dense foliage is cool. I kind of want it in one or two of my decks. Just be like, hey, leave my stuff alone. But unless you think
Whoa.
that.
I don't know if I've ever seen this card.
What's it do?
Well, for 2 and a green, it's a rare enchantment that says creatures can't be the targets of spells. And I swear I don't know if I've ever seen this card before.
Too many trees. Too many trees. People look really upset by the number of trees around.
I bet they're loggers. What a bunch of jerks. No? Maybe they just have serious allergies. Oh, I bet they have allergies. Oh, the poor bastards. But yeah, Call of the Wild, like, the rest of it is kind of meh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Monvuli Ooze is the one that uses the cumulative upkeep in such a way.
Mm-hmm. Aberoth also uses cumulative upkeep in an unusual way.
Yeah, a 6-mana 9/9 with cumulative upkeep. Put a -1/-1 counter on it.
It has a very vanishing / fading feel to it.
Mm.
Yeah, this was like fading before we got fading. Because it's a 9/9, which means the first turn you can attack with it, it's an 8/8.
Mm-hmm. And then it goes to 6/6, then 3/3, then gone.
Poor dude. He just doesn't have anything going on really.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Nothing.
No.
Yeah.
All right. I do like Tranquil Grove as a reusable tranquility.
Yeah, it's neat.
But not mythic. But it is neat.
Yeah.
All
Game
right, so
feels
now
really good.
how about we've got 3 lands.
Yep.
Lotus Vale, Scorched Ruins, and Winding Canyons. Huh.
A land, in my opinion, to be mythic has really, really got to be up there. And I think the Lotus Vale and the Scorched Ruins are kind of interesting in what they do for your mana. But if it's going to be any of them, I think it might be the Winding Canyons. We had a Simic land that did this, the Alchemist Refuge.
Yeah, that obviously being Simic took colored mana.
Right, and I think it's not just creature cards. It lets you cast any of your spells as though they had flash, but yeah. So I don't know. Winding Canyons, Oracle, tap for a colorless mana, or pay 2 and tap. You may cast creature spells this turn as though they had flash. That actually seems pretty interesting, given that it's a land. It's going to be harder for them to get rid of than, say, an enchantment. And it's a repeatable effect. It's going to make your creatures cost a little more to be able to go surprise. Seems pretty good. Is it mythic? I don't know. I think it's a solid rare. I don't know if it's mythic. What do you guys think?
Probably not.
Mm-mm.
Although the fact that any deck can use it is kind of
Mm-hmm.
or any color rather, but
because at the time was King Cheetah like the only creature that actually had this built in?
it was one of the few if it wasn't the only one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember King Cheetah being a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
That was just in what? Was that Mirage or Visions?
I think it was Visions.
So then to turn around and be like, hey, you like King Cheetah?
Yeah, but
Have all of your
essentially,
stuff.
like you're adding 3 mana to the cost
That's
of
true.
all your creatures. So yeah, probably not.
That's true. It's not just 2, which 2 would be significant enough, but it's 3.
Yeah, it's
so.
2 and this. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, how about because like Lotus Veil says Lotus, but it's just not that great until
You
you
can
get
abuse it and the Scorched Ruins with like untap effects, but I don't think they're mythic. I think they're just kind of like, hey, neat.
Yeah, they're rares.
Yeah.
Because the fact that you have to sacrifice 2 untapped lands when you play them, or just when they enter the battlefield, actually, is a steep enough cost that keeps their power and probably rarity down.
Yeah,
It might
it makes
have
them
made-
balanced.
Do what?
It makes them balanced.
Yeah,
Scorched Runes a little less because it puts you up 2 instead of 1.
yeah. Like, I could see them making Lotus Veil a mythic just because it's got the magic word Lotus on it, but
It's interesting, if they wanted Lotus Veil to be a mythic, then they might not have even included Scorched Runes in the set.
that is true, yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know.
So, both of these are lands, by the way, that say when they enter the battlefield, sacrifice 2 untapped lands, or sacrifice them. Right, let me read the... Oh, if you don't put it into its owner's graveyard. Yeah, so you can't, like, play it and tap it for 3 mana and then sacrifice it. Like, it's worded in such a way that you can't do that.
Oh, it does it say as this enters the battlefield?
It says, if it would enter the battlefield, sacrifice 2 untapped lands instead. If you do, put Lotus Veil onto the battlefield. If you don't, put it into its owner's graveyard.
Okay.
So they super worked around it.
And again, that reflects how they would have worked under the original rule set.
Yeah. But Lotus Veil taps for 3 mana of any one color, and Scorched Ruin taps for 4 colorless mana. So they're both super good, but like Mike said, they're balanced.
Yeah.
So what about the artifacts?
Nope.
The only ones I saw that had some potential was Thran Tome and Well of Knowledge. And of those, Thran Tome was the only one that I thought might have potential.
Thrantum is a.
I agree with you on Well of Knowledge.
Thrantum is a bit of a mini fact or fiction, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. Well, read Thran Tome then.
Thrantum, for 4 mana, is an artifact. Pay 5 and tap it. Reveal the top 3 cards of your library. Target opponent chooses one of those cards. Put that card into your library, into your graveyard. Then draw 2 cards. It doesn't sacrifice itself.
No?
It's a repeatable effect.
Yeah, it's a book.
Okay.
Like, okay, sorry, that's not that's not what I meant. I meant, like JMD Tome or Jalum Tome or all those other things.
Wait, Mike. Are you saying when you finish reading a book, you don't immediately throw it in the fire?
That's correct.
That's what the burning fire's for, right?
Man, maybe I need to stop spending so much money rebuying Harry Potter books and the Sandman books.
I thought that's why they called it an Amazon fire.
No, sorry, I meant to point it out that it's in the same vein as JMD Tome and Jalum Tome.
I know. I guess when I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, certainly this must be a one shot. I'm not saying it's a broken effect, but I thought this is actually a pretty. I mean, you're drawing 2 cards and you're getting, that's pretty cool. But yeah, wow, good job. Is that the title of the episode? Yeah, it's a book.
Yeah, it's a book. It might be. That was pretty good.
Mythic, feels like a rare card.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the other one?
Yeah. Hey, Derek, what's Well of Knowledge do?
So Well Knowledge is for 3. It's a rare artifact. For 2, draw a card. Any player may activate this ability, but only during their draw step.
But you can activate it over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How has this not popped up in our multiplayer group? Feels like a costly but effective.
None of us probably have it.
Yeah, I think I
used to
used
have
to
one.
a long time ago, but I don't anymore.
I mean, it
Or
feels
maybe
like
it's just been kind of forgotten in my binder for a while. I don't know. Where is my binder? Oh, it's in my room with my other stuff. Never mind.
it's symmetrical, which multiplayer me is like, yeah, but I don't know if it's expensive too. Like that 2 mana is going to add up a lot.
Well, 2 mana to draw a card repeatable is a very, very good rate.
It is, but is it?
But
Mythic?
yes, it's expensive, and you're soaking up a fair amount of mana, before your main phase has even started. So
Yeah. So whatever you draw, you may not. I think it's an interesting card. Don't know
Yeah.
about Mythic.
Don't know if I'd call it Mythic either.
Yeah, I don't know about these colorless cards.
And for me, those were the only ones that seemed interesting, that I thought had the potential. For
Wait.
the artifacts are just not very good.
You mean you don't like an 8 mana thing that does nothing, but you can then pay 5 mana to make it an 8/8 with trample?
No.
Well, you don't want to pay 13 for an 8/8 with trample?
Well, 13 the first turn, and then we're up to 18 by the next turn, and then 23 by the next turn. It dodges some removal.
It's better than cumulative upkeep eventually. Oh god.
Is it really?
I mean, if you're going like 10 turns, oh totally, yeah.
No. I looked at Bubble Matrix for a minute. It's kind of cute.
By the way, that was
playing.
Xanthic statue that I was talking about.
Yeah. Bubble Matrix for 4 mana, prevent all damage that will be dealt to creatures. That is what we call a big effect.
Yeah, that's Peacekeeper level weirdness.
So maybe Bubble Matrix. I can see. Here's the thing. I can see. If you feel like you've got to go into artifacts, yeah, Mythic, right? Like it's not too much of a stretch. And this is such a little thing, okay? But I have read articles before where Mark Rosewater has pretty much said, yeah, rarity and how much play we expect the card to see will actually dictate some of the art. It was one of the reasons why you remember with original Ravnica there was the Watchwolf. Watchwolf was gonna be a centaur, and the person turned in the art, and they're like, "Yeah, this feels cool, but we want something with a different tone," so they made Watchwolf. There was a centaur that was gonna be the 3/3 for 2. So, yeah. Bubble Matrix, Mythic, sure, might need a bit of a rebrand because it's almost a little too
goofy,
silly.
Yeah.
That doesn't. I'm not saying realistically, oh, that means it can't be Mythic, but yeah.
I remember for a while, and I don't know if it was purposeful or if it was just an oversight, but you know how EnQuest used to have a list of like every Magic card in the back of the magazine.
Yeah.
And they would have star ratings from like 1 to 5 stars based on how good they felt the card was.
Yeah.
For a long time, Bubble Matrix did not have a rating.
Why?
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it was an oversight, like an editing oversight, or if it was on purpose. I wondered if it was on purpose because Bubble Matrix is the kind of card where I look at it and I'm like, gosh, I don't know, man. Because you think about how much it screws up the game for creatures to not take any damage at all. It's just weird. Yeah, but besides Well of Knowledge, the other one that stood out to me was actually Bosium Strip.
Bosium Strip is a strange card.
It is a strange card. And the reason I noticed it was because it's not just a thing like, oh, you can do this once. Is that the effect lasts for the whole turn. So for 3 mana, it's an artifact, and it has an activated ability. Pay 3 and tap. Until end of turn, if the top card of your graveyard is an instant or sorcery card, you may cast that card. If a card cast this way would be put into a graveyard this turn, exile it instead. So you can keep going. It's not just pay 3 tap, and until end of turn you can play an instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. You can keep going as long as the next one down is still an instant or sorcery.
Oh, that's not a book. I did not realize that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Experimental Frenzy, but for your graveyard.
Yes.
And you can cast one from your hand.
Yes, you can. And
And
that
then
becomes the top
recast
card of your
it
graveyard.
with
Yep,
the Bosium
exactly.
strip.
Mhm.
So if you hit like a creature, you can be like, oh, well, let me cast this and I'll cast it again. Ha! Granted, you need a lot of mana, but still, that's really cool.
Yeah. Well, you can get a lot at the time. You can get a lot of mana because you could do some Dark Ritual shenanigans.
Yeah. Untap your Lotus Veil.
Yeah.
Huh. I did not realize that about Bosium Strip. That's freaking cool.
Yeah, it's not like Elkin Bottle where you like just do it once. You can keep going.
Huh. Wow, they could print that today.
Well, no, because it relies on graveyard order, which isn't a thing that the game
Oh, it does,
cares
doesn't
about
it?
anymore. Yeah,
Never
right now
mind.
graveyard order, you only care about graveyard order in games where there are cards that could care. And in tournament play, you only care about graveyard order in Commander, Legacy, Vintage, and I guess Pauper, because those are the only formats where cards exist that actually care about the specific order of cards in a graveyard.
Yeah. Excuse me, I was going back to a better time when I could play Nether Shadow. But they could print something that allows you to... No, they really couldn't. Okay, never mind. That's why we have Experimental Frenzy, see?
Yes.
Probably still not Mythic, though, but... That's way better than I thought. Huh. Okay, anyway. And I guess we're contractually obligated to mention Null Rod because it's a vintage card.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
For 2 mana, it's an artifact. Activated abilities of artifacts can't be activated.
Okay.
But...
No, my well of knowledge. No.
No!
Oh, my Thron Tome. No, it's a book. I can't read it.
I
My Zenith
forgot how to
statue.
read.
No.
Yeah, I paid 8 into this, and I can't pay 5 more.
Curses.
Oh. I mean, yeah, but no, it's a rare.
Yeah, it's not a mythic, but like I said, because it's a big card in a vintage, we sort of have to mention it because it's there. So, hey, look, Null Rod.
This effect was actually just printed on a rare creature, so yeah.
It's also got really sweet art.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and this is where the "it doesn't do anything, no, it does nothing" came from. I did not realize that until just now.
You didn't realize it?
I knew it came from a card, but I did not realize it was Null Rod.
Yep.
That's pretty funny. Nice. Okay.
Well, we have come to the end, and it's 10:30, and I have to drive 6 hours tomorrow. I got to take Mike to DC.
Yay.
I'll go to DC, Mike.
Yes, please.
It takes
Good.
you 6 hours to get to
That would be a
DC?
bad time to say no. So, for my final thought, I'm looking forward to this weekend, and I'm looking forward to seeing Mike, and I hope everybody else has a great time too. And I still got some stuff to pull together, so I'm going to go now. Okay, bye.
Night, B. And then he didn't leave. Oh, there he goes. Huh. All right then, Dirk.
This week has been a little stressful on me. Mostly because this is the first week where the kids are out of school. And so I've been trying to implement a summer reading, school related schedule and all that. Which that hasn't been too bad. It's starting to it gets a little stressful. But I actually had a job interview Friday last week, and I was told that I should hear something back by Wednesday. Well, it's Thursday today. I haven't heard anything.
Oh, hey, it is Thursday.
And so it's one of those things where the pessimist in me is going, yeah, you don't have it. They're just trying to get a hold of the person who, actually got it, and they just haven't had a chance to get a hold of them. And then until they get the, yes, I accept the position, they can't contact the rest of us and say, yeah, you guys don't have it. And so that unfortunately has been running through my head today, and
that is the sort of thing that just gnaws at the back of your head.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's it's sort of been hemorrhaging my self, my self-confidence and everything. And so I'm like, well, so it hasn't helped my mood over the week or over today. So
is that why you threatened to slit my throat earlier?
Well, if you're going to be talking about me like that.
All I said was, how you doing? Dang.
You guys have to listen to the odds and ends if you really want to know the whole story on that one.
That was a lie, by the way. I totally didn't.
But yeah, that was totally a lie. We just made that up.
You should still listen to the odds and ends, though. Become a patron. A lifeguard.
But yeah, it's like I said, it's just like all in all, it's not been a bad week for me. But at the same time, the anxiety of I really just want to know one way or the other. The anticipation is really just like, just let me know. But yeah,
dang, man.
But aside from that, all's well.
Other than that one massive thing dragging me down, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel like most of the time. All right, then. Well, are you off to bed too, then?
Yeah, I'm gonna head off.
All right. Well, have a good night, my friend.
All right, you guys too.
All right, thanks.
All right, beardy face.
All right. I'm also looking forward to this weekend at the GP. It's been a long time since I last went to one. It's been Orlando since I last went to one. That was at least a couple years ago. I feel like, it's going to be hard to measure up to that one because I got a good pool in the Orlando one. I got a good pool that I was able to recognize as a good pool, and I built a good deck and I played really well. And didn't get knocked out of contention until the last round of day one. And then I spent a week at Disney. So I'm not expecting this experience to beat that one, but I do think Modern Horizons will be fun.
I mean, if nothing else, there's no Disney nearby. So yeah, you're kind of boned on that side.
There's no Disney near Chantilly, Virginia, unfortunately.
You could go all the way into DC proper and look at the Washington Monument.
I could.
If you really wanted to, but that's not the same as, Splash Mountain.
No, it isn't.
I meant to say Space Mountain. I don't know why I said Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain's the lame one. What's wrong with me? I'm going to blame it on a friend who just texted me a picture of her new fish.
That makes sense.
So I said Splash. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
It's all her fault.
But yeah, hopefully that'll go pretty well. I think it will. And if I get knocked out early, I have a couple decks for side events, or I might just goof off the rest of the day. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
Nice. All right then. So is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. I have hiccups. You stopped slightly too soon, Mike. All right. Well, then that leaves me where I don't go to DC because I have to stay here and do things like not spend money on a hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, things like that.
Right.
Important work. But I do lots of other things like one YouTube video every day on youtube.com/themanapool, where at the moment I'm cycling through the second quest of The Legend of Zelda and the World of Light mode in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I'm getting very close to the end on those. The last video that I edited and rendered was the last one from the previous stream. So now it's just the final two streams where I thought each one would be the end. Is all I have left.
Uh-huh.
And an auto chess. Because I'm still playing Dota auto chess. And hey, Riot Games is making their own version. Riot Games is the company who makes League of Legends. One of the other big competitor to Dota 2, of course.
Right.
And so I signed up for a League of Legends account so I could try out the new auto chess style game. It's called Teamfight Tactics. So once that goes public, which I think is sometime later this month, I'll be playing that too, or at least giving it a shot. They had a thing with a bunch of auto chess streamers, like Savich, and he said he really liked it because it's not just auto chess picked up and dropped into League. It's got some new things and that auto chess doesn't do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. Also, the Blizzard is making their own standalone version of not Blizzard. Sorry, Valve is making their own. I want Blizzard to make one, but Valve is making their own version. That's a standalone thing, and the company that made the original mod is making their own on mobile, and also now on PC that will be exclusive to the Epic Store. For some reason. Probably because Epic gave them a bunch of money. Because I think that's how that works. So, yeah. Auto chess has blown up and will continue to blow up in the coming months. It's pretty cool. The last stream I did, which, hey, I stream here on twitch.tv/themanapool. Not only do I stream Monday Night Magic and the Manapool both live, but I play other games too, like finishing Smash Ultimate or streaming auto chess, where, dude, I finally won a game of auto chess on stream.
Again. Okay, so what constitutes a game? Because I thought I'd seen you win before.
But no.
In some videos.
No. Like the entire thing.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay.
Yeah, like a game, not like a round.
Got it. Okay.
You win rounds all the time. But no, I came in first for the first time on stream, and only my second time ever because I'm still not quite good at the game. But the first time I won was off stream. Of course it was. But I won one on stream. I was proud of me. It was a hell of a game too. So yay. I'm leveling up. Level up. Yeah. I also stream other things too, like Hearthstone and whatever else comes to mind. Steph and I streamed some Human Fall Flat last week. That was excellent. That'll be going up on YouTube at some point. Once I finish one of these series that's already running, I'll start converting the Human Fall Flat into videos because it's so cute. And I mean the game this time, not just Steph. So yay, video games. So you can check all of this out on either YouTube or Twitch. And please do. Because I enjoy it. And hopefully you will too, because I enjoy it. Which means I enjoy what I'm doing, and it comes through while I'm playing. Yay. But if you want to help support what I do with 1 YouTube video a day, 2 podcasts a week, that's a minimum of 1 YouTube video a day. 2 podcasts a week, and streams just constantly, then you can go to patreon.com/themanapool and become a lifeguard, where you can get perks. Like, you can get Manapool episodes and YouTube videos early. Like right now, I think I've got 4 or 5 YouTube videos that are up on Patreon that aren't public yet because I managed to get way far ahead for, again, finally.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Actually, by today, it might only be like 3 or 4. Let's see. World of Light, Auto Chess, Zelda. Okay, no, it's just 3 at the moment, but I've got a 4th one uploaded that I need to put on YouTube. Anyway. Or put on Patreon. So yeah, you can do that. You can get access to the odds and ends, all the stuff recorded behind the scenes, before and after both Monday Night Magic and the Manapool. I just put one up earlier today and got 2 more ready to be listened through. So, sweet. I need to just take a chunk of tomorrow and just get all of them ready to be listened through. Because it's such a long, tedious process that I tend to put it off, because it really is just do a couple things and then wait. And then do a couple things and then wait longer. And then do a couple things and then wait a really long time. And I really need to like have something else going on at the same time that I can sort of pay attention to.
Right.
And that's just the process to get them all processed and ready to go. If I could find like a new YouTube series or something, maybe I'll watch the Young Doctor's Notebook and other stories. Because that's not a show I have to pay attention to while I do that. Anyway, that's something for me to figure out. But the top tier lifeguards get the sponsorship shout out on both podcasts and on the end screen for all the YouTube videos. So I'd like to thank our mythic lifeguards: Kim Ho, Andrew Hunt, Al, Lance Delicious, Timio Hellas Haru, Connor Kennedy, John Morris, Alex Gonzalez, Jeff Spencer, Stuart Slaw, PJ McMullen, Sophia Bertain, Casey, Fayen Says, Danny Liao, Jason Doan, Cody Buckowing, Jake Jansons, Jason Cowles, Gothic Man, Brian DeLucci, Stark Maximum, John Parker, Violet Moon, Aleph Cat, Dan Holm, Bartle, Mike Millerburn, and the Beastfather, Aaron Goodwine. Yay. So with that, we will end the Manapool number 556. Hope you enjoyed our Chandras and our Netflix and our Weatherlight Mythic Conscription. Aw, yeah. Right? That's what we did this episode. That was this show.
Yes, it was.
Okay, I didn't know if I fell through a time warp or something. You know how it is.
Yes.
Those pesky time warps. So, thank you all so very much for joining us. And I guess if you saw Mike and Brian at DC, I hope you said hi, because this won't go public until they get back. Well, it'll go public Sunday, but they'll still be there. So, Anyway, you guys got to look for Andy Light Kai. Don't forget.
Okay. I'll try to remember that.
I don't know how you'd find him, but I'm sure he'll find you. So, did that sound creepy? I hope it did, even though I meant it. I didn't mean it to. Anyway, so thank you all so very much for joining us, and go play some Magic.